Good morning, students. Today we will learn a poetry self contained. The poem Self Contained is written by the American poet Walt Whitman. Along with being a poet, he was also a teacher, government clerk, and a journalist. He is often called the father of free verse. His poems did not follow any rhyme or musical pattern. Whitman defied tradition and wrote poems without a rhyme scheme. Not only did he carve a style of his own in poetry, but did the same in the social life too. Before going to the poem, let us learn meanings of few words. Turn in this poem means transform or to change. Placid, not easily upset or excited. Self-contained, complete in its own self, or self-sufficient. Mania, craze, demented, behaving irrationally due to anger or being mad. Kneels, to bend on one's knees. Kind, in this poetry, the meaning is a particular group sharing similarities. Respectably, here in the poem, too happy and satisfied. Sweat, in the poetry, it means to become anxious about something. Whine, a long, high pitched sound. Make me sick is to get disgusted. The first stanza of the poem, I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self contained. I stand and look at them long and long. In the stanza, the poet here desires, the meaning of desires is wishes to turn into an animal and live with them as he is impressed by their calmness and the purity of their mind. Unlike humans, animals seem so contained with their lives and are happy in their natural surroundings. The simple lives of animals help them maintain self control and their rationality. He stands and looks at them for a long time. In the phrase long and long, the implied meaning is the longing that poet feels for these two qualities in human beings. The second stanza goes like this. They do not sweat and whine about their own condition. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. They do not make me sick, discussing their duty to God. The poet here is quite happy with the fact that animals do not make complaints and cry about their conditions like humans. For example, humans have so many things, but still we are not satisfied. We cry for more and more. Whereas the animals, they eat and sleep peacefully and they have nothing to worry about. While humans, because of their wrong actions, are unable to do so and thus cannot sleep without worrying about them. Humans, even after committing sins, talk about God and rightness, whereas animals are simple creatures and they do not need to worry about praying to God. The poet here means that since animals are so pure, they do not pray to God for forgiveness and ask God to fulfill their desires like humans. The third stanza of the poem. Not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the mania of owning things. Not one kneels to another, nor to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. Not one is respectable and unhappy over the whole earth. In this stanza, children, the poet says that animals do not possess material things like humans, and they are happy and satisfied without all the worldly items. The desire of which has affected human beings very badly. This desire to own things has been called by the poet as madness. Whereas animals are free from the habit of praying to their ancestors, when the poet says, not one is respectable, he means that since all of them are equal, there is no question of respect to some and insult to others. All these features of animals make them happy and uncomplaining.